Are you on the right path? Moving in the right direction? Let's jump into it. Roll it. Are you on the right path? Are you moving in the right direction? Have you sat down to think about it in a positive way, not a negative way? In last video, we talked about, are you moving in the right path when you don't know your direction? We focused on the idea of how to get moving through making the right decisions at the right time as opportunities come up. And the reality is that when we're going through the work to maintain a certain path that we don't really know where it's going, it's directionless, but we're doing it based on our gut feelings, what feels good. Now when we have direction, well, it's a little bit different because we need to stay aligned. In order to do that, well, the emotion has to step aside while the rational side starts helping us make the right decisions at the right time. Is that gut feeling still at play? Well, yeah, it is. It has to be. But are you saying yes to everything? Or rather, are you saying yes to everything as much and as no coming out as well? Maybe it starts to come out more often, and maybe that's the goal. Now, my goal in this video is to really give you a eye-opener on opportunities and how they work and how to make a decision of yes and no and be able to walk away without regret. In fact, I think it's more geared towards saying no to the opportunities that come your way unless they really are aligned with that path you're on, that direction you're moving to, and of course that mission and purpose you have created for yourself. Because again, paths are created based on emotion. We start doing something like picking up a camera and shooting video for fun to becoming professional at it. You don't know you're going to become a professional photographer or videographer until you start keeping on working on it, increasing skill sets, and realizing, hey, you're really good at this. Maybe there's something there, and it's just progress that continues to develop. Some people do it out of need and necessity for a current business, and all of a sudden they learn the skill sets and realize, hey, I'm really good at this. And others, well, they've been doing it as a hobby, and all of a sudden, hey, somebody just offered me money and there's an opportunity, let's do it. And then it turns into more and more opportunities like that. Which gives way to an opportunity to not have to do your day job and just focus on doing something you love. This is, of course, just an example of how we find a path and how the emotions guide us through it. But as we get more serious and we finally develop that direction, that purpose we have, well, now things come our way that could derail us. The rational side has to look at what is occurring, and it has to say, hey, this is a yes or this is a no, because we still need to be on that path. Unless the path is changing, well, we've really got to be analytical about this and really think through before it hurts our chances for success. Risk is always present. Risk doesn't go away. We need to be able to mitigate risk in order to continually see growth and success in anything we're doing. As we're more aligned with what we're doing, well, the reality is that we have developed a self-awareness of who we are right now and what we want to be, who we want to become in order to achieve the things we're trying to achieve. And in order to do all this, we need to set rules into play that govern our decisions. Usually these are the rules we make in order to stay on that path. It's the amount of time you spend on doing any one thing. It's the amount of money you're going to spend. It's the energy level you need to have. It's the growth that needs to occur and what you need to learn. Values play a critical role. We have to analyze ourselves and understand who we are right now and what we need to grow into. And of course, with values and life principles, fear is around the corner, the self-limiting beliefs. When we are on an emotional high, self-limiting beliefs take a back seat. But as we continue to move and logic comes into play, rational side comes into play, well, fear is there. It's waiting. It's not going anywhere unless we are continually working on that. Integrity is what plays the critical role here. It's understanding who we are and what we value, what we see ourselves as, and how our actual values come into play with any one thing that is occurring. Using integrity to make decisions really helps us grow into that person we want to be, because saying no teaches us more than we ever could learn from anything or anyone else. So when you're on a path and an opportunity comes and you are stuck trying to figure out yes or no, well, these are a few steps you can use in order to make sure you make the right decision, walk away from it, and not have regrets from it. Step 1, it's analyze your emotional states. When an opportunity comes my way, I always look at my emotions. What is occurring? Sometimes I'll get this awesome high, or I'm like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever. And then sometimes I'll get this, oh, that's not the best thing ever. I don't know if that's good. And then sometimes I'm in the middle and I'm a little bit higher in the middle, and you're kind of like, okay, now why do I see these tendencies occur with me? I see everything as an opportunity. Everything that happens is an opportunity, and I focus on that, whether it's good or bad, because I'm looking for the opportunity of what's going to happen from what has just occurred or what has come my way. It has helped me tremendously with everything I do, not just in my professional life, but in my personal life. It's helped me all around become a better version of me. And with that, I'm always analyzing my emotional state. Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Why did what just occurred make me feel the way I did feel? And I ask myself, without knowing if I'll ever get the answer, but I'm aware of that emotion. Number 2, it's the rational side coming out and looking at, hey, why is your emotion like that? Let's calm it down and let's look at the actual logical side of things. What is the pros and what are the cons? How does this directly benefit the path I'm on? Is it gonna benefit me to continue moving in that right direction, or is it gonna kind of shift me off to the side a little bit? Or is it gonna derail me totally? It's a serious question and an important one to ask. Number 3, it's taking everything we wrote and comparing them to the emotions. Are the emotions calming themselves down? Are we seeing more of the reality behind everything? And at that, how does it relate to how we're feeling as we see everything that's being written down? Usually as we write stuff, our emotions will change a bit, but if we sleep on it or we give it some time, our emotions totally take a different look at what is occurring, and now you don't have that extreme high or that extreme low. You're more in the middle, feeling good or not feeling that great about something. Number 4, it's time to make a yes or no decision. And this is where we need to look at our path, our direction, that destination and that purpose we're on. And we gotta ask ourselves, if I say yes or if I say no, where is the benefit? How am I gonna feel after? What's gonna happen when I'm not seeing the success I wanted to see? What's gonna happen when my emotions start to take over and I'm starting to not be who I am? I'm not centered. Those self-limiting beliefs coming out to play, that failure mentality creeping up, that whole fear thing. And what's gonna happen when I am not still moving in that path? We're also gonna look at it and say, what's gonna happen when we do? And what's gonna happen if this opportunity fits, but now I'm not really holding true to who I am and what I need to be doing on a personal side? How does this all fit together, and how do I make it work? This is where eagle-eye view of this whole situation comes into play. What growth will you need to partake in order to do that? Will you need to bring extra help? Will that be the growth that you need to really zone in on? Are you going to really work on yourself to figure out what are you really good at and what do you need to pass to somebody else to do? And are you there yet? Once you have all this planned out, whether it's a yes or a no, we're going to write everything down. And we're going to write our emotions down, how they relate, and of course, the step-by-step approach you took to make the decision. This is taking both rational and emotional side into account, because this is a critical part. This writing it down needs to be kept long term, whether it was a yes or a no. Because as you start moving, well, a few things might happen. Where you said yes, things might not go the way you planned. Where you said no, well, things that you were working on for the reasons you said no, well, now your mind is regretting it. Now, it's critical to write all of this down, both the emotional and the rational thought process we went through. Because the time will come when regret will start coming up and you'll have to review this. Which is in our step 5, it's accountability measures. Are you being accountable on the things that you said you would be doing? This is the first step when that regret starts to show up. Are we doing a check-in on the path we're on? Are we doing the things we need to be doing? And are we moving still in that same direction with the decisions we've made so far? This is a critical step. Accountability is one of the most important things we can do in both business and personal life. This is because without accountability, we don't have that high level of expectation to be responsible to the things we need to be doing each and every day that will bring us the success we need. And then when failure comes down the road because we're not hitting our goals, we're not smashing them, we're not achieving, well, then we look to ourselves and put ourselves down instead of being in a place where awareness comes into play and we are starting to look at the accountability measures, the metrics, to really focus on what needs to change right now to get back on track. As we do follow the steps and as we do maintain accountability for ourselves, well, now we can look at that stuff we wrote and we can go back and look at the reality, not the narrative we created, of what occurred in us making the decision. Because the narrative, or the narratives that we create in this process up until we start being accountable again, will be many. But what we wrote, well, that is legit 100% what occurred at the time. Why you made that decision at that moment and why it was the best one for you at that moment. Most of the time, well, people, they take a day and they're feeling great and they're realigned to what they need to do and they get moving, they make some changes they have to make, off they go, and they're back on track with the path in the direction towards that destination, that purpose they're looking for. Some of the times it takes several days and maybe a couple months, and sometimes they actually start changing more of the path because they realize that this isn't what they want. Again, being aware of yourself is critical here. What are your inner wants, needs, your values are really the things we need to look at. What do you value right now? Because those do change, and they change based on how everything moves, time. And yeah, what you thought money was like when you were young changes as you get older. What you thought family was like has changed too. Friends. What work means, time. Take some time and really go through this process. Go through it in a non-biased way. If you are on a path and opportunities are coming and you're wondering why you're making decisions you're making, why they're not the right ones at the right time, or why they're always the wrong ones at the wrong time, why you're not saying no enough, or why you're saying yes too often without thinking, well, this is the steps you need to start practicing each and every time. I would encourage you to try this out for a couple months. Really focus on it, because you'll start seeing changes like everybody else I have worked with on this. When I started doing this, my life did change. It changed for the better. A more positive me was, born. It felt good to finally start making the right decisions at the right time. And I want that for you, so that you can start making the right decisions at the right time and get moving in the right direction. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see, and of course hit the subscribe button to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. And of course, share this with anybody that needs to hear this message, and at the same time write a comment. Leave your story below. What's worked, what hasn't? What do you suggest people do? Because who knows, somebody might be watching this and might read your comment. You might help change their life.
Snow again.